Hey guys, for today's video we are going to be doing something a little bit different on my channel, and that is reviewing the new Morphe foundation in concealer. In the foundation I picked up shade F1.10, and then in the concealer I picked up shade C1.15. You know your girl is super pasty. I picked up the lightest shade in the foundation that is available on Morphe's website, and I also picked up the lightest shade of the concealer that is not the white one. So if that does not say how pale I am, I do not know what does. I also want to mention that I'm going to include some timestamps in the description box down below for you if you would like to see the application of the foundation as well as some comparison swatches to other brands. But if you're like me and you would like to hear some more information about the concealer in the foundation, then stay tuned on watching. So first we are going to go over the Morphe Fluidity foundation, which comes in 60 shades. According to Morphe's website, this foundation is a 24-hour long wear foundation. It is sweat-proof, transfer-resistant, water-resistant, free of oils, fragrance, and parabens, and great for all skin types. I also want to mention, I feel like this foundation's packaging reminds me a lot of the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte one. If you guys are familiar with that one, the one in the squeezy tube, it really looks super similar to that. This foundation retails for $18 on both Morphe's website as well as Ulta Beauty. With this foundation, it does not come with a pump. It does come with a squeeze tube though, so it is very sanitary. So here is the Morphe Fluidity Full Coverage Concealer, and this one comes in 30 shades as well as a white one, and this retails for $9 on both Morphe's website as well as Ulta Beauty. So when opening up the concealer, it has a really nice seal to it, and here is the applicator. It's a really nice applicator. It's really easy to get around underneath the eyes with it, and I also really like that it's kind of flat on one side than the other. It really reminds me of the Colourpop No Filter Concealer one, if you have ever tried that one. I also want to mention that I forgot to mention this with the foundation as well, but there is no scent to each of these products. It just honestly smells like makeup. But yeah, with all of that said, if you would like to see how I apply these products to my face, then stay tuned on watching. I just want to mention this before we jump into things, but I put a tinted brow gel through my brows, and I'm actually really liking it. It looks really cool. It's definitely more on the natural side for me, but I'm actually liking how I actually look like I have nice eyebrow hairs. And I don't have to like completely draw my brows like I normally do. I don't know. It's kind of cool. I've never done this before. So for the foundation today, I have the Morphe Fluidity foundation in F1.10, which is the lightest shade available on their website. So for primer today, I'm going to be going in with my Holy Grail primer, which is the Too Faced Primed and Poreless primer. And I just want to mention, if my skin looks a little bit red right now after applying the primer, it's just honestly my skin is super sensitive. Anytime I touch it, it turns really red, so I just want to warn you. So when applying the foundation today, I want to try two different methods. Sometimes I prefer a sponge and sometimes I prefer a brush, so I want to try both today. So on my left side of my face, I am going to go in with this AOA Studio complexion sponge. I'll link it in the description box for you down below. And then on my right side of my face, I am going to go in with this Sigma 3D HD Kabuki brush. This is my favorite all-time Holy Grail brush for foundation. So as you can see on the back of my hand, this foundation is fairly liquidy. It's not like super thick either. It's not as thick as the Kat Von D Lock-It foundation. It kind of reminds me of the L'Oreal Infallible, the one in the tube, if you guys have ever tried that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply this kind of in little sweeping motions, a little bit underneath my eye. And we're going to put a little bit down here too, on the side of my nose, and kind of on my chin, as well as up here. I apply a lot of foundation when I use it, so I just kind of want to warn you guys that. But today I'm going to try to apply a little bit less than I normally do, just so we can see how this foundation builds up and whatnot. So what I'm going to do is now blend it out with my foundation brush. I'm just going to apply a little bit more kind of underneath where I would put my contour. I have a lot of acne kind of right in there and a lot of redness. I'm just kind of like swiping it onto it. I'm not really having too much product. I just prefer to swipe my foundation than to do the dots. That's just kind of a preference for me. And then I'm just going to go back in with that brush and see how this one blends it. Kind of gets, this one dries like really fast. That I've noticed, like it dries like almost instantly, so you really have to work like super quick with it. Seems like it built up really quickly. At first it got like really dry feeling with the brush. Like I could see it got like really kind of almost chunky looking, and then after I just kind of worked it in the product a little bit better, it definitely built up really easy. Now let's try the sponge side. So I'm just going to apply the same amount of product. And with the dampened sponge, I'm just going to tap it out. I'm going to build this one up just a little bit underneath my cheeks as well. I have a lot of acne and texture over right in here. And again, I'm just going to work really quickly to blend this out. So looking at both applications, I definitely prefer the side with the sponge. You can see it really like melted it into the skin, and it just kind of made it look a little bit more flawless, and even up in here it just seems a little bit more blurred. However, the side that I applied it with the brush, you can kind of see I have some like texture up in here on the top of my forehead, and then kind of underneath my eye it just seems a little bit more textured, as well as in like this kind of general area where I have some texture from my acne. So I do definitely recommend using this one with this sponge. I think it's just a better application in my opinion. I also want to mention this foundation dried down extremely quick. I haven't even had it on 2 minutes and it's already dried down, even on the perimeter of my face where I was applying a little bit extra. But overall, it's not sticky or tacky. It just kind of feels like, I don't know, my skin pretty much. And it doesn't really feel heavy on the skin either, in my opinion. Granted, I do wear very full coverage foundation. The more I look at myself in the viewfinder, I feel like I don't really need concealer underneath my eyes. Normally, I'm not somebody that applies concealer anyways because I wear very full coverage foundation. But I feel like this foundation gave me a lot of coverage to the point I really wouldn't need it. But I think for testing purposes, we are going to try it out anyways. I'm honestly really loving the applicator of this concealer. It reminds me a lot of the Colourpop No Filter one, which is my absolute favorite type of applicator for concealer. So I'm really excited that they included it with this one. And then with this concealer, I'm just going to apply it really close underneath my eye. I don't really need a lot, honestly. I'm going to put a little bit on the spot I have over in here. Any other ones? Maybe like right in here. Even the consistency really reminds me of the Colourpop one. Like, it doesn't feel like super heavy like Tarte Shape Tape, but it doesn't feel like super liquidy either. It's like right in the middle. I know a lot of people like to really heavily apply concealer underneath their eyes and all over their face, but personally for me, I just find it very heavy on the skin and it really makes my eyes look very textured, so I'm just taking the less is more approach. And then on the brush side, I'm going to be taking the new Sigma P87 brush to help me blend this out. This brush is really nice for it. It's really nice to get like underneath this tear duct area with this brush. Dang, that's a nice shape. I'm honestly going to go back in with my big brush though, just to quickly blend it out, because I don't think I have a lot of drying time with this one. Yeah, I don't... Why in the hell did I... Ugh. See what I mean? This foundation just... You don't really have a lot of time to work with it. I'm just going to go really quick. My eyes with the sponge. See, you can tell I really waited too long because it's like pulling up my foundation. This foundation honestly really reminds me of my favorite Kat Von D Lock-It foundation. You have like barely any time to work with it, but it gives you a really nice base. Because as you can see, like it even pulled up over in here because I gave it too much time to dry. Taking a little bit of setting spray on my sponge and seeing if I can kind of blend it out. And then next I'm going to bake with my Colourpop loose setting powder. I'm going right underneath the eyes and really heavily packing this down. So here's where I'm at right now with the foundation and concealer, and then off camera I'm just going to apply my contour, my blush, and my highlight, and just the rest of my face, and then we'll come back and talk about everything. So coming back after finishing up the rest of my face as well as this tutorial on this eye look, I can definitely tell I'm not the biggest fan of the side that I applied with the brush. I have a lot of texture underneath my lip area, kind of over in here. Around my nose is like the worst. Like it's really textured and you can see like a lot of like wrinkles and it's really kind of like dry and chunky looking. And then above my brow up in here, it's really dry and textured as well. However, with that said, I actually really enjoyed the side that I applied it with the sponge. I don't have any texture over in here underneath my lip, My nose area looks just fine. It's kind of rubbed off a little bit because I did itch my nose once. But other than that, it looks really kind of how it should. It doesn't look really dry, and I don't see a lot of like pore issues. And then up above my brow over in here, I don't have as much dryness either. So with that said, I want to share my thoughts and opinions on both the foundation and concealer with you guys, as well as do some comparison swatches. So with the foundation, I honestly love it, and I really like how it looks on my skin. I actually like it a lot more than I thought I was going to, since so many people are posting bad reviews about it. However, for me personally, I really enjoy it. This foundation really reminds me a lot of my Holy Grail Kat Von D Lock-It foundation. Even with how to apply it, I do prefer that foundation even applied with a sponge and not a brush. And I also have noticed that foundation dries down very quickly, and you don't have a lot of room to blend it out either. But what I really enjoy about this foundation is how full coverage it is on my skin, and it really looks honestly flawless in my opinion. I mean, I did apply it with the concealer, and personally I'm not the biggest fan of the concealer with this foundation, but I feel like it really gave me a nice kind of look to my skin, and it really kind of went over all of my problem areas with ease, and I didn't have to use as much product as I do with my Kat Von D Lock-It either. Another thing that I really like about this foundation is the color match to me. I find that this foundation actually matches me better than my Kat Von D Lock-It in shade 42. And also this one did not oxidize on me either. You can see like right in here. It's like a really nice color match to my neck, which I really enjoy. And it also kind of covered up all the redness that I was having too. I really do want to stress though, if you are somebody that has a lot of dryness to your skin as well as a lot of texture, you may not like this foundation. Or if you are somebody that has tried the Kat Von D Lock-It foundation and you did not like it, you probably won't like this one either. However, if you are like me and you have dry skin, I always exfoliate my skin before I apply a foundation, and I also always apply a really hydrating mask about 20 minutes before foundation as well. Overall though, I'm actually really impressed with this foundation, and I cannot wait to use it more. I'm really hoping that this one does not break me out either, because I can't vouch for that yet. But if it doesn't, this one's going to be definitely one that I'm going to be using more regularly. As far as the concealer, honestly, I'm just not the biggest fan of it. I found that this concealer was super drying underneath the eyes, and it just does not have the coverage that I'm looking for either. Not to mention, this concealer dries way too fast in my opinion. Like, you pretty much have to work in sections, otherwise this one is going to make your foundation look super splotchy, and it's going to pick it up weird, and it's just going to look like a total hot mess. If you look underneath my eyes, like right in here, you can see how textured and crepey they look from the concealer. It is definitely way too drying for me, especially underneath the eyes. And if you look like right in here underneath my lip area right in here, you can see where the concealer dried down way too quickly, and I did not have it blended out in time. So it kind of pulled up my foundation kind of in this area. However, the thing that I did like about the concealer is the shade match for me. I thought it was a really nice color underneath my eyes. However, the formula is just way too drying for me. So with that said, I'm going to include some comparison swatches for you guys. So here is the Morphe Fluidity foundation, shade F1.15. Then here is it kind of blended out. Here is the Lock-It foundation by Kat Von D in this shade 42. Here is the Colourpop No Filter Liquid Foundation in Fair 05. And then here is the Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundation in Blanc. Here is the Morphe Fluidity Concealer in C1.15. I'll just do that much. Colourpop's No Filter Concealer in the shade Fair 02. Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer in C0.5. And then Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in the shade Fair. Let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are on this foundation and concealer, and if you have tried it, let me know what your thoughts and feelings are on it as well. As always, I would really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button down below, and if you would like to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram account is @lethal_kitten. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and until next time, bye!